Hello, I'm the X-Toycat, and welcome back to an episode of my Minecraft Xbox Update Adventures Let's Play. This is a Let's Play where I've been playing through the various updates that have come out for Minecraft on the console, building stuff, killing stuff, and of course, destroying stuff. And in today's episode, I'm going to be working on something that you probably recognise from last episode, and a lot of background gameplay now, because it is the gold farm. But because the gold farm was built before giant Nether portals, it uses lots of regular-sized portals built together, and although that's pretty efficient and it's working, and it's creating zombie pigmen, I figured, you know what, let's test the new method, the one that exists now that there are giant portals, and let's build some of the biggest portals there are, and let's test them against the old ones, because there's data that kind of conflicts on this. Some, data says that, oh yeah, there's more portal blocks, so you should get more pigmen with bigger portals, and some, times it's like, oh no, it's based on the spawning location. So I figured rather than just guessing it, and rather than just taking one opinion or the other, why not test it myself? And that's what we're doing in today's video, after I repair my armor, because it's getting very close to dead, and as it turns out, at some point, or maybe it's always been this way and I just didn't know, at some point they made it so it's, really easy to repair armor. It only takes like 4 diamonds to repair a diamond chestplate, which is essentially 8 diamonds. So for the price of 4 diamonds, you get 8, and especially if you've enchanted it, it just seems like good maths to do. So yeah, let's actually repair all our stuff while we're here, because it's best to do all your reparations in one go. And just like this, as you can see, we've got a pretty decent working set of tools. So yeah, all of the greens and the yellows and stuff have gone up to oranges, and I think even by the end of this episode, I might even craft myself a set of diamond armor, because, yeah, so many people ask, like, Toycat, you have so many diamonds. Like, I have a stack and a half still lying around a chest somewhere, and, people ask either, 1, how did you get that many, or 2, if you have so many diamonds, why are you so stingy with them, or why do you have to be so cautious about your pickaxes and that? And the big reason for this is that I went diamond mining so much when I first started this world. It used to be one of the biggest things I did in Minecraft. If you watch the early episodes, you might even see it come up. I did a lot of diamond mining, and I've got the biggest branch by Nether, because I just enjoyed diamond mining. So I ended up with like 2, maybe 3 stacks of it in the end. And I was just like, okay, let's be cautious of this now, because don't want to waste those diamonds, want to keep on collecting them. And as it turned out, I end up being cautious enough that, the stack doesn't really go down. It's it's kind of like the Minecraft equivalent of that real life thing where, like, oh yeah, I won the lottery when I was 10, didn't tell anyone, and now I just get to buy anything I want ever, except it's diamonds, and you don't earn interest on diamonds. Sadly, I mean, there's a new feature idea, right? But anyway, that said, let me just quickly mention the fact that I actually went to the dentist recently, because a lot of people ask, like, what's up in Toycat's life? I went to the dentist for the first time in like 10 years, and it was like the weirdest... I guess weirdest difference between what I was expecting and what actually happened, because the reason I hadn't been in so long is because the last time I went, again, I would have been like 11, 10, 12, let's call it, somewhere in that ballpark. The last time I went, it was like a really awful experience. Like, the dude was just, criticizing, like, oh, you need to do this, this, and this, and da-da-da-da-da, and his whole, he actually, like, he had the, like, weirdest smelling gloves, and it felt like, please stop sticking that in my mouth, but obviously, they're dentists, they don't really listen when you tell them to not do stuff like that. I was just like, in the UK, it actually costs, or it doesn't always cost money, but in the UK, it actually costs money to get your dental care. Well, I'm not going to pay someone to stick a bad smelling glove in my mouth, and so I didn't for the longest time, until recently, when I was like, I guess I have to go and do that again. Anyway, by the way, if you're wondering what I'm doing here, this is where the portal's going to go. I'm going to do some, like, weird maths with the obsidian and hope it just works out, and I'll try and, like, not get too distracted, but I think it's going to have to go that way, at least a little bit. Yeah, like I was saying, so yeah, I went to the dentist again, and it actually didn't suck. Like, I was just expecting, like, worst time ever, just, prepare yourself to shut down for half an hour and wake up on the other side, because I have this theory that, like, how everyone always wants to skip time, but, whenever you have something bad, you just want to skip forward? I almost can do that, and I don't think I'm actually doing it, but because your entire... This is, like, almost a existential argument here, but... Oh, also, so we need to go over 23 blocks, so we'll place 23, so we'll get down 16, then we'll go to the nearest one of these pillars and build to that, or whatever looks like halfway, and that can be good. So, yeah, like I was saying, like a lot of people, everyone wants to have the ability to skip forward through time, and I think... So I guess this would be it. This is the midpoint. And so then if that was 22, it would be. We need to place these 15. Okay, well, let's just... And then another 7 more, I think. But yeah, like I was saying, a lot of people want the ability to skip time. I think the way you can do it is because all of your perception of how long something took is based on the past, right? You don't perceive it in the present, which means if you just kind of, like, shut down and do the most boring tasks, or, like, basically just sit there doing nothing, then time will pass a lot, or, really quickly, and you won't even really realize it because it doesn't pass quickly at the time. And it's one of those weird things that terrifies me because it generally does pass faster in retrospect. Like, I had a 7-hour flight and I was back from Canada recently. I was awake during the whole thing because it was like it was a nightmare for a whole bunch of reasons that aren't really too relevant to this whole thing. But yeah, basically it was a nightmare for a little bit thing. But I just kind of sat there and I was like, I'm just gonna skip this time. And in my head, it really did just skip. Like, oh yeah, I hopped on the flight and then I was at my destination and I was getting the train to wherever I was going in the north. And yeah, basically that was something I managed to do. And I realized that it's the kind of same logic there where it's like in the past it makes sense, but in the present it was hell. So we need to go 20 blocks up now. So till we get to 36. But yeah, in the past it was, easy, but in the present it was hell. And I've always been scared that, like anesthetics when you go under for like surgery and stuff, I've always been scared that works exactly the same. Okay, so this should be the top. I'm going to double count it on the other sides just to make sure. And these are going to be my giant portals. That'll be a fun little thing to test against. So, yeah, I've always been scared that, like, you can actually feel the pain the whole time, and then you just forget. Because what's the difference between not feeling something and just forgetting you felt something? And maybe that's going to scare someone who has a surgery. If you have, don't worry, I'm just making it up. It's not a real thing. But no, in all seriousness, it does scare me at least a little bit. But I've just figured, it's probably going to be fine. Let's just hope I don't need a surgery or anything like that. And that's been my rough kind of life plan. And in fact, that was my plan with the dentist, right? Just like, I know you're meant to go every 6 months, but let's just not go for the longest time. And although actually, in retrospect, because I went and they just kind of said like, oh yeah, everything's actually going pretty well. In retrospect, it was a good idea not to go for the past 10 years. Like, again, this is a bit of weird logic to apply, but if you think about it, if it turns out that you wouldn't have needed to do something, even if it's something you're kind of meant to do routinely. So I had 2. Okay, no, I've got 3 there, and I've got 16 in hand, so I need to go 3 more up from this. Yeah, if it turns out, that something you meant to do routinely, you didn't need to do, and, like, let's say fixing your car or changing your car lot every, I don't know how many months you change your car lot. Let's make up a number because I don't know, so now we'll just build across. Every 12 months. If you don't do that, but your car doesn't break or even get injured in any way, then that was a good decision because car oil is expensive. And the same with the dentist. Like, again, it's sort of free in the UK. It's a really I don't understand it, but I have to pay for the dentist for some reason. And basically, because my teeth are entirely fine and everything's going just okay, then clearly it was the right decision to not spend, however much it would have been, a lot of money over, 10 years, going to the dentist, right? And that's the sort of logic I like to apply retroactively, just to make me feel good about making a decision like that. And maybe you should too, or maybe you definitely shouldn't. Don't listen to Toykat's advice. Although actually, totally listen to it. It's the best in the world. With that said though, yeah, dentist, very traumatic experience that wasn't this time. It just kind of like, again, I just kind of was like, I'm gonna shut my brain off or like think about video ideas or whatever, because that's what I tend to do during things. I do not have ladders with me, which I kind of need. We don't really need them. Actually, should we light these portals now or after? So yeah, I've got a bunch of trapdoors. But for the record, like, as far as like tricky building resources to get, trapdoors are like one of the worst, I think. Because the amount of wood you need just to get, like, a single trapdoor, it's absurd. Like, you need, so then we'll place some over there. You need to, like, because it's obviously 6 planks to make 1 trapdoor. That means you need, like, 1.5 wood blocks per trapdoor. And I had, like, several stacks of, 1.5 wood blocks. I had several stacks of wooden planks lying around, and all I got was, like, this, stack and a half of doors. And it's like, geez, this is just not a fair system. And that is why you need to be cautious when you're building with anything like trapdoors. Like, try to use them as low as possible because they're just annoying to get, in my opinion. Obviously, that is my opinion, but something. I mean, in this case, my opinion is the important one. But yeah, off the subject, in my opinion, and my recent life stuff. Because again, like people like the what's going on Toykat's life segment. But just in case you don't, you're like, Toykat, I only care about the other things. In which case, maybe you'd enjoy my recommendation of Mr. Robot, actually. So it's on Amazon Prime, as always. I mean, there's links in the description of, like, an Elgato on Amazon, but if you want to get Amazon Prime, there are Amazon links you can find about the place, and I believe I get a commission, so just keep that in mind, that maybe this is all biased. But yeah, I actually just watched it, because I accidentally bought Amazon Prime, and, like, I forgot to, unrenew it after the month, and now it's just like, I kind of need it. But you get, like, free music, and you get the free movies, so I'm like, sure, I'll watch the movies on the TV show. I've been watching Mr. Robot, particularly in there, and it is, like, one of those TV shows that's the level of good where, like, once you get into it, you're like, it's 11:30. No, I was meant to be sleeping half an hour ago. But on the other hand, You know, I need to know what happens at the end of this season, and yeah, it's good enough that it's like that. And you know, any show that can make you do that has to be something pretty good, right? Also, this is this is how we shut them off. Oh, isn't that wonderful? So once all of these are placed, oh, we need to have them on the other side too. I just realized this is only like half done. So okay, go over this side. Yeah, like I said, this is just a super frustrating task, and I don't even think I have enough trapdoors. After all of this, there is still not enough trapdoors to go around. So it's technically going to be a slightly flawed experiment, I guess. Between now and then I'm going to have to get some stuff, which is a bizarre place to be in. Like, oh yeah, you only place down a stack and a half of trapdoors, and therefore everything you do is kind of flawed. But I guess that's what we've just done right here. So yeah, now we're actually going to light them, because I just want to see these things like in action, because they look fun. Oh, I should have tested they work. They do. Okay. Oh, for the record, you should do that before placing everything around them, because again, there's like the portal size limit, so like because it's 23 by 23 but based on the outside blocks, it's easy to get confused. Not saying I have, although I totally have, but it is something that happens sometimes. Oh, look, one spawned already. Maybe, okay, that's a good sign. Oh, another tip I learned. Okay, here's a useful one. This is kind of scary right now. Here's a useful tip I learned very recently, actually. If you play on hard difficulty, you get more zombie pigmen spawning from the Nether, and if you play on easy, you get less. So if for some reason you want to turn down the farm, play on easy. Because I play on normal all the time, if you don't know. And if you want to turn up the difficulty, or turn up the spawn rate, then turn it on to hard. So what I'm going to do is get like a fair test right here, is we're going to exit and save. Actually, let me show you a cool little glitch while we do that, because it's been in the game for quite some time, and it's a weird one to pull off that you never really end up needing to do, but it's kind of interesting. If you sleep in your bed, and then you exit and save, like we do right there, when you wake up, like, you're both in the bed and not in the bed, so it tells you that you can't sleep there because someone else is there. I don't know, I find it interesting. But yeah, let's exit and save. Go back in on hard difficulty this time. Because that's, you know, I'm hardcore like that or something. Actually, you know, if you're curious, by the way, as to why I play on normal, because some people are, it's because I like playing on, like, the intended difficulty in most games, and although hard isn't that much harder, it just means that certain stuff, like creeper explosions, are just more one-hit kill. And, you know, I don't like stuff that can kill you one hit in Minecraft, so I avoid that, and therefore, I play on normal, unless it's beneficial to the gold farm, in which case, sure, let's play on hard. So, yeah, in theory now, so as you can see, I wake up like in the bed, and now I can't sleep in it because it's occupied. You have to break it and replace it, which is a bit of a weird thing to... Apparently sometimes you can't always replace it. Okay, there we go. Which is a bit of an annoying thing to do. But yeah, now, as of waking up this time, we should be able to properly test this. And, we have to be within 32 blocks of it to get the full range going. So, yeah, in theory, these 4 portals should produce about the same as that one there. You know, there's a lot more portals there, but there's the same amount of, like, area here. And if the smaller portals are more important, then what will happen instead is these portals will just massively outproduce that by, like, 16 to 1 or 8 to 1. If it's even close, then that means that the big portals work. And because they look amazing, like, let's get a proper view of these, because you can't really see them from there. But, like, look, get a proper view of these. They just look amazing. I figured, yeah, sure, let's do it, why not? And I think that's what we're going to do here. So, again, we can wait and see. Oh, wow! Oh my god, the odds of that happening are so rare. We got a baby zombie pigman jockey. Oh my god. Oh, wow. What? What? Oh, wow. Okay, so just to get as a clarification, there's a 5% chance of getting a baby zombie pigman, and there's a 5% chance of it then spawning a chicken. So this is like a 1 in 400 out of our farm, which is producing like 1 a minute. So, wow, that's cool. I kind of want to keep him, honestly. Like, don't you? I kind of do. But yeah, so we found something pretty cool today, and we'll let some mobs spawn and do that whole thing while we work on the outside, because obviously the Netherrack cube is like a part of this farm, because it's the exterior, it's like how it's going to look to the outside world, and because I've got some Netherrack, which, if I haven't mentioned already, it's interesting having to build a Netherrack, because most people don't ever build with 3-source. Like, it just looks bad, so, you know, I mean, look at it. Look at Netherrack and tell me that you'd let this into your home if it asked nicely. You wouldn't. It's not a very friendly looking block, but you know, if you do need to build a bit for, like, whatever reason, most people just have so much of it lying around that they can just do that. But in my case, I've been, like, actively mining it, and that's a weird thing to be doing. But yeah, as you can see, we're kind of in the situation where you can see this is producing at least the same, if not a little bit more. But it's just how much more that kind of matters to us. But since... Did one spawn there yet? But since that's kind of hard to measure, let's just, let's kill all this stuff. Probably should have attacked... Okay, so pro tip. All of the zombie pigmen get angry with you if you attack them and you don't kill them. But because these guys can die in 1 hit, it won't make the other ones angry. So he should be angry at me. Yeah, he's going to be angry. But the ones over there, because they're outside the radius, I think anyway. I forget how big the radius actually is. Okay, no, they're all angry at me too. But if you kill them in one hit, then in theory at least, so you're also going to be angry. That one in the corner, okay. This one I'm going to bet is not angry. Aha, see, because... Oh no, okay. Gotta prove me wrong at the last second like that, don't you? He just hates Toy Cat being right. He's like, you know what? I really don't like you, Toy Cat, because that gravel video, I didn't understand the sarcasm in it, and I've just been upset ever since. That's what the zombie pigman thing. Anyway, yeah, so this is working just fine. Obviously I'll do some intense testing between now and next week, but for now, we've got a new sword for our collection. It's got, oh wow, it's got like a decent, like, this is an okay enough sword. Like, it's probably better to use for the Nether than what I have right now, so I actually will keep this with me and do some zombie pigman stuff, but this, and the nuggets probably aren't worth keeping. So yeah, good stuff. Good farm, clearly. I like that we've upped the rate of that. But first, we've got to go get some netherrack, because, like I said, I've been mining it, got a whole bunch of it lying around, and it's one of those interesting things. So, anyway, one of the things I was also thinking about a lot this week is, like, there's this, like, constant, I guess, debate. Like, it's one of the most common topics you see in, like, TV show debates, when they're like, is are humans capable of working together or not? And every now and then, the answer just seems like no, because everyone tries to avoid each other. I mean, at least personally, like, I'd rather not cooperate with the human at, like, a McDonald's. I'd rather speak to the machine, and same with, like, any, like, regular store. And it's gone to the level where, like, if I do have to interact with the people, it's like, wow, this is such a awful experience. Like, there's a person between me and what I want to get at this restaurant. Like, all they have to do is, misunderstand that I said, Coke instead, or Coke Zero instead of Coke, and, oh, look at that, wrong item, just paid for it, and now I have to, like, speak to someone. Except I'm not going to speak to someone, I'm just going to silently be angry and talk about it in my Let's Play. But yeah, that's just that's the sort of thing that like happens now. And the netherrack's stored in. I always forget where stuff actually goes. Yeah, that's the sort of thing that like actually happens now, instead of just the whole process of type it into the machine, get the stuff. And that makes me think that I guess maybe I'm just not good with people. Maybe everyone's not good with people. But then I realize, then I look up certain things. This one I found out while I was working on like some form of book, but basically I learned about something called the Ice Block Expedition of 1959, and it's one of those things that just makes me realize, we can do some pretty cool stuff if we have motivations. Those motivations don't need to be good or bad, but this example, so if you haven't heard of it, basically there was a radio show that like was challenging people to take ice from somewhere in the Arctic to the Sahara Desert at the equator, or that's probably not the Sahara Desert, actually, but one of the deserts at the equator, like a super, super hot area. And, like, just for fun, like, a company got on board and we're like, oh, yeah, we've got this really decent foam that can do that. And, here's this logistics company that'll give us the truck. And they just decided to, let's actually get together, let's make this happen. And they did. They got to the equator using a giant ice block, and they only lost, like, 21% of its weight. And it's one of those tasks that, and they have to go through, like they have to have armed guards, because obviously driving from there to there isn't always safe. And, there's like a billion different, like, weirdities of the task of transporting an ice cube into the equator. But yeah, it's one of those things that just made me go, wow, actually, that is pretty darn cool that, even if it's a pointless task, even if we're achieving nothing but saying, we did it, we're pretty good at doing that. Like, isn't the whole reason the space race existed because, like, it was all about, we could do that, and they're like, no, we could do that, and, became a race to see who could do it first, and it makes me wonder if then maybe the best, okay, so, maybe like, getting together and doing stuff, kind of tricky, unless you gotta beat someone else at that game, in which case, yep, that can totally be done, and I don't know if that was a positive thought or a negative thought, but I was like, that is kind of nice, isn't it? But, by the way, you can look it up if you want to learn more about the Great Ice Block Expedition. The basic idea is, they took an ice block, got to the equator, was pretty impressive. They didn't win the reward in the end, because, like, the radio show or whatever, like, withdrew it. But they decided to do it anyway, and they proved a point for their sponsors or something. I don't know, it's one of those things where, like, everyone's intrigued by the idea of getting an ice cube to the equator. So, when you hear about someone doing it, I guess it's good for their brand. I don't know what the brand is, though, so I guess they clearly failed at that. Oh, okay, we've got 2 zombie pigmen. They don't hate me, as you can see. If I kill this one in one hit, because he's not damaged, it doesn't alert this one. Like, look at him. I'm standing right next to him. He could kill me right now if he wanted to, but he doesn't want to, because he's a good guy like that. So, yeah, there's the little update right there. Also, before we end today's episode, I did want to just quickly mention that... Wait, no, I don't want to quickly mention something. I wanted to do something. My words have been all over the place. Word spaghetti, I think it's called. Word spaghetti though sounds like a really delicious type of like American soup, because you know how everyone always hears about like alphabet spaghetti soup, or whatever it actually is, and it's like, I never got to try that, and it actually sounds pretty delicious, because you got to think, if you're going through the effort of like cutting pasta into the shapes of like the alphabet, you're probably gonna have pretty good pasta, and I'm just saying, if anyone has alphabet, is it alphabet soup or alphabet spaghetti? It might actually be already a thing, but yeah, word spaghetti sounds pretty good. Please send it my way if you get some, or if it does actually exist, because again, there's so many things where like, if it exists on a TV show, you're kind of torn as like, is this a real thing, or is this like a real American thing that just everyone knows about, or is it just a TV show? So I'd love to know which it actually is, if any of you are familiar with that whole thing. And also, just based on the test we're doing here, I really think it's hard to say for sure. I think I'm gonna have to do like some real numbers analysis, because sometimes it feels like they're generating about equally, but right now, for instance, we've gone past 2 or 3 in there, but none from this. Look at the size of this portal and tell me it should be generating more. I don't know what to say for sure. I just know it looks cool, so I'm glad I built it regardless. And I guess now all I'm gonna have to do is go back and get some obsidian mines. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna go and do, I guess. In case you're curious, I do have an efficiency 5 pickaxe, so mining obsidian is like, it's not fun by any means, but it's less painful than it otherwise would be. So I guess that's good news. And I guess the key point to take away from this episode is I found a baby zombie pigman... a zombie pigman jockey, I guess it'd be called. And that was pretty damn cool, right? I know, I'm running into so many rare events in Minecraft. I sometimes question if they're rare, like the pink sheep thing. I've seen like 3 or 4 pink sheep since the last episode. And it's like, these are meant to be 1 in 600. But whatever, we found it regardless. We did good, sort of. And that's good news, I can only assume. Anyway, hope you did all enjoy this episode of the Minecraft Xbox Update Adventures Let's Play. Like it if you did like it, share if you really liked it, and subscribe if you're new around here. Just a reminder, there is a playlist of every single episode in this series, and if you want to watch, what was that, 272? You can do that. I would be... I'm always impressed when I find someone's done that, and I don't know if I can necessarily recommend it, but if you have like 2 months you need to fill with an episode every... I guess that'd be 4 episodes a day. Jeez, then you can totally do it that way. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye. Oh, in case you're curious, back there is where I mine the obsidian. So, yeah. Real goodbye now.